Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you wherever you are across the world. Welcome to Live a Phenomenal Life show with me, Madame Merola, your host, where it's all about inspiring, empowering, and transforming your life one show at a time. This is season 5, episode 20, and today it's all about why positive intelligence, which is written PQ for short, matters, right? So if you've never heard of positive intelligence and you're wondering, oh my God, another one again? Yes, there's a new kid on the block. And it is called positive intelligence. So we've heard about the intelligence quotient, which is the IQ. We've heard about emotional intelligence, which is the EQ. We've heard about so many other so many Qs, right? Social quotient. We've heard about love quotient. Now people are talking about this one, positive intelligence, and how it can affect our lives, both professionally and personally. And that is actually the precursor to how we are able to be much more successful in life. And many of us were not aware of this before. So we need to be able to say that, okay, what exactly is helping me to be achieving in life, to be able to also attain my goals that I set for myself? And what are the things that are holding me back? Could it be that I'm lacking in positive intelligence? We will find out today, right? Because I also didn't know much about this. But because I am such an avid learner and one of my core strengths is positivity, this really intrigued me. So I was really interested in finding out more about what this positive intelligence is all about. And you know that anything I learned, I share with you guys. So I couldn't wait to share with you guys what I've learned so far about positive intelligence and how it can aid you as well if you start to build your mental muscle, to start to look at life from the glass full kind of way rather than the empty kind of way. So that's why I'm here. So let me say hello to the people that are saying hi to me on Instagram. Rashida Adike, good morning to you. Welcome to Live a Phenomenal Life Show. And on I have Michael Mute here on Facebook and on YouTube. Hello, how are you guys doing today? Michael, it's so great to have you with me. So I trust you guys are all doing well. So before we delve deeply into the topic, you know that we have a ritual. Hi, Ma Delphine. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining me. And you guys know that this is the last day of the month of February. So that is the reason why I chose this topic, because I was like, oh, what a great way to close out the second month of the year and start March on a higher positive vibe, right? Because when we look at the reasons why we keep sabotaging ourselves, why we keep wondering why things are not working out for us, it could be that it's an internal conflict and not necessarily an external thing that is happening. Because many of us always think that it's other people that are holding us back. It's the environment, it's the society, is this, is that, it's my spouse, it's my family, it's all the things around me rather than the things internally. So maybe we should stop looking at all the other things outside and start to focus on the inside and ask ourselves the deep question, as in, are there things within me that are hindering me from being able to push forward, for me being able to overcome some adversities in life, for me being able to push beyond my comfort zone and attain greater heights, attain greater success, attain richer relationships with people, because of the fact that I'm not really looking at the internal locus. I'm not looking at the things that are raging within me and are hindering me. So maybe when we look at it, we'll be able to start to identify. I say, now I see. This is what is coming up right now. And we're able to snuff it out real quick. Because when you can't identify a problem, you will find it difficult to be able to come up with a solution, right? But the minute you are able to identify it, you're able to name it, you're able to see where it's stemming from, the source of the problem, then you're already closer to finding the solution you need. So that is the reason why I said, let's talk about positive intelligence today and let's see how it can aid us to live a better life. So before we get into that, let's first of all define what is our one word for this week. So because we're starting a new month tomorrow, you need to have one word that will push you forward, that will keep on making you stay focused on what you want to achieve. So I want you guys to start to type on the screen for me. What is that one word you're going to use as your anchor to push you forward for the rest of this week? One word. It would help you. That one word, you write it down, put it somewhere where you can see it easily every single day when you wake up, when you're busy. I normally will put it as a screensaver on my phone to remind me, okay, of what my one word is for the week. So you need to ask yourself, what is your one word for this week? And then how are you going to ensure that you are able to achieve that one word? Okay, so Rashida is sharing with me that our one word for the week is courage. I love that. So for me, my one word for this week is influence. Okay, so I've chosen influence because I know that if I can't influence myself to do the things that I need to do in order to keep on becoming the higher best version of myself, I can't influence others because I needed to start from within. I can't give what I don't have. So my one word for the week is influence. You have just shared one with me and I love it. Courage, yes, because many of us have the courage to plan, but not the courage to do. So it's good, Rashida, that you have your one word for the week being courage. I love it. So as I shared with you, my one word for the week is influence. So anybody that wants to borrow my one word, please go ahead because it would help you. You need to be able to influence yourself. You need to be able to lead yourself. So make sure you have one word for this week that will be your energy fuel, and then keep on using it to kind of help you to achieve all your micro and macro goals for this week. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is share affirmations, right? It is a standard here. And especially because we're talking about positive intelligence, you're going to see how you get to control the circumstances in your life. I love what Oluwafumilola has just shared as a one word. She said, passion. I love passion. So, passion is a great one. Thanks for sharing that with us. I love it. Okay. So, if you are not in the zone whereby you can actually control and influence yourself to be more positive about life, trust me, things are going to go downhill very quickly for you. I'm talking about this from an experience, okay? I have been someone that I've always had high positive energy, but then I also am the same person that has been depressed and suicidal in the past because I didn't know how to be able to use it at the worst stage of my life when I was going through domestic violence for 10 years. So I became suicidal and stuff, but that was also how I was able to focus within me and flip the switch. So from going from somebody that was very, very positive, very happy go lucky person to someone who became suicidal and depressed, and to be able to flip the switch back on again and become a positive person, to become somebody who's always seeing things from a positive angle. It is because I was also able to switch on what I learned is positive intelligence. Okay. So my mixed with spiritual intelligence is what helped me. So I don't know if many of you are aware that there's something called spiritual intelligence. So spiritual quotient, you need to learn it. So I use the combination of positive intelligence, PQ, and SQ to help me to flip the switch from being depressed and suicidal to becoming somebody that is optimistic, that is positive minded, and is always thinking that there is a way, there is a way. Okay. So that's a little bit of my backstory in case you never knew much about me. So that means I'm just trying to tell you that it is possible. It is possible to live from a vantage point of having a high PQ that will aid you in living a successful life. Okay, so without wasting too much time, let me just pick three cards randomly, read them to you so that we can get into the topic because already 9 minutes past the hour. Okay, so I got three cards, guys. Let me get them and read them to you. Okay, so the first one says, I have a positive attitude. Wow. I have a positive attitude about all that concerns me. I make things happen with my goal getter spirit. What a phenomenal card to come up today. I have a positive attitude that about all that concerns me. I make things happen with my goal getter spirit. Beautiful card. The second one says, I take risk with ease. I go beyond my comfort zone and stretch towards the higher and better version of myself. I am bodacious. Love it. And the third one says, in life, all things happen for my highest good. I am a fast learner and make all experiences work for me. I learn the valuable lessons life offers me to grow. I love those three cards we got today. Phenomenal. Okay, Oluwafumilola on LinkedIn is saying, I will be more passionate about my life's calling and be intentionally positive about my daily engagement in the coming months. I love it. Thank you so much, Oluwafumilola, for sharing this. This is so good. So good. I need to put this on the screen. I will be more intentional about my life. Oh my gosh. I'll be more intentional about my life's calling and be intentionally positive about my daily engagement in the coming months. I'll be more passionate about my life's calling. I beg your pardon. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, what are we talking about today, guys? For those of you that are just tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Once again, to Live a Phenomenal Life Show with me, Madame Merola, your host. Today is season 5, episode 20, on the last day of February 2022, the 28th. And we're talking about why positive intelligence, which is also called positive intelligence quotient, PQ, matters. Okay. So we're going to be talking about that. So, first of all, do we need a definition, right? Because for us to understand something, we need a definition to say, okay, what exactly is this? And how can it aid me? So let's start off with a definition of what is positive quotient, and then we'll move on from there, right? Okay, so I'm just scrolling down because the people on LinkedIn, Facebook, and stuff get to see my screen. Unfortunately, for those on Instagram, you don't get to see it, but I will be reading it out for you guys so that you don't miss anything. Okay, so the definition that I have for you guys is positive intelligence is an indication of the control you have over your own mind and how well your mind acts in your best interest. Positive intelligence is an indication of the control you have over your own mind and how well your mind acts in your best interest. Okay. So the reasoning behind all this is the fact that they say that the mind can be your best friend and it can also be your worst enemy. Okay. And the reason why this is so is because you can use your mind to do good. And you can also use your mind to be able to sabotage yourself. Okay. And all this came about by research. And I've forgotten the name of the person, the man that came up with all this research, but I'll give you the link so that you guys should get the book. It's called Positive Intelligence. Trust me, it's a great read. You will benefit highly by reading the book. So it says that your mind is your best friend. And unfortunately, it can also be your worst enemy. And that when you do not know what exactly is hindering you or polluting your mind for you to be able to start to derail or for you to start to hold yourself back, you will find yourself not living in the full capacity of consciousness to live at the level where you can be the best you can be in life. So these hindrances, these voices, these things that make us act in certain ways at certain periods of our lives, they're called saboteurs. Okay. So they've decided to categorize them in two areas. There's a part of our brain that actually makes us to think about things in a negative way. And it's called the saboteur side of our brain, right? And then we have the other side that empowers us to think positively. And those side of our brain is what they call the sage power side of our brain. So you have a mix of saboteurs and a mix of sage. So the saboteurs are 10 in number. The sage, which is the good one that allows you to be more positive, which empowers you, there are 5 in number. I'm going to break them down for you real quick so that you can have a little bit of brief about them. And all of us have a mix of all these 10 saboteurs. You might not necessarily have all the 10, but you will find yourself engaging in at least 1, 2, 3 at particular periods of time in our life. So the key is that all of us have saboteurs, right? So it's not that, oh, it's just some certain people that have the saboteurs that are actually active in them. We all have them, right? But the thing is that How do we know which is which? And then to be able to say, okay, now I can identify that when I do this, I am actually allowing this saboteur to take control of my mind. And then you know how to eradicate that or to diminish it in such a way whereby you empower yourself with one of the sage powers that I'm going to mention. There are five in total. Okay. So I've got some comments that I want to read before I move on. So please, ma'am, can we have the three affirmations in the comment section? Ooh, that would be challenging for me to do, Olua Fumilola. But what I can do for you, sis, is please send me a DM in LinkedIn. Send me a DM and I will send you all the three cards that I read out for you. Is that okay? That's a deal. I'll send you all the three cards, screenshot it for you so that you can have them. Okay. Thank you so much for that request. Okay. So, as I was saying, that all of us have a mix of this 10 saboteurs, and we need to be able to discover which one is in play and then how to actually mitigate them. So, welcome, Maureen. It's good to have you here. Okay. So, the reason why we need to be able to identify them is so that we can shut it down as quickly as possible. Okay. So, what are these 10 saboteurs that we all have? Can I start with the first one? Okay. So let me just quickly tell you a little bit about the saboteurs. They say they are the internal enemies, okay? They're a set of automatic and habitual mind patterns, each with its own voice, beliefs, and assumptions that work against your best interest. Did you get that? For those of you down Instagram, especially because you can't see it on your screen. The saboteurs are the internal enemies. They are a set of automatic and habitual mind patterns, each with its own voice, beliefs, and assumptions that work against your best interest. So I said before that identifying them would help you to be able to disempower them. So what you cannot identify, what you're not aware of, you cannot be in charge of. So that's the reason why we need to be able to understand what the saboteurs are, identify them, and then to be able to disempower them from our lives. Okay. So as I said, it's not that everybody's got a mix of them. So let me share some of them with you. Excuse me. So the first one is the judge. So the judge is known as the master saboteur, which means that almost everybody's got this. We're always judging people. We're always judging ourselves. And this one just basically just keeps on finding faults with everybody and even with yourself, because you just be like, oh, look at you. That's the reason why you're like this. So you are always finding fault at yourself. You're always finding fault with people. That's why number one, the judge is something that is a universal kind of saboteur that everybody goes through this. Everybody's always judging somebody else for one reason or the other. So you need to know when you are in that judgy state of flow, where you're criticizing yourself and looking at other people and just trying to find faults. You need to be able to ask yourself that, okay, now I know that I'm being a judge at the moment. And then you will be able to use one of the five stage powers I'm going to mention to slam dunk it and just keep it quiet at that point in time. Okay. So that's number one, the judge. The second one is called the stickler. Okay. The stickler is the one that needs things to be perfect all the time. They like things to be in order. They like everything to be organized, and they always take it to the extreme end. And that's the reason why we keep telling ourselves, when we find ourselves to be overtly a perfectionist, you have to tell yourself that, hey, you need to be able to give yourself a break to do things imperfectly. Because when you take things too far in wanting things to be so organized, you want everything to be in order, you like everything to be absolutely perfect, you'll find out that you are constantly demanding people to keep doing things, and you just sap other people's energy, and it saps your energy as well. And you just make everybody else around you anxious and uptight. So you don't want that. You don't want people to be uncomfortable around you or not feel that they can do their best, because you're constantly finding fault with everything they do. That is the stickler. They like everything to be I's dotted, T's crossed, nothing out of place. They're the ones that can tend to have like OCD complex, because they want everything arranged exactly they want at a certain angle. And if you make a tiny degree change in it, they are going to flip at you. So that's how you get to know whether you're a stickler or not. Okay. So that's number two shed. The third one is the pleaser. I suffered from this for a very long period of time in my life. And I've been able to understand that, okay, this is one of my major saboteurs. And now I know how to be able to bring it down a notch and not necessarily overdo it to the point where I self destruct and become resentful. So the pleaser is someone who is constantly trying to gain acceptance and affection by helping people, rescuing people, making people feel good about themselves, flattering them, complimenting them. At the end of the day, you're trying to lift everybody up, make other people's dreams come true, make other people feel good about themselves, to the detriment of losing sight of your own dreams, your own goals, your own needs, your own affection, your own wants. And then you start to become resentful about it because you're like, oh, I'm always doing things for other people and nobody's doing anything for me. That's how you know that you're a pleaser. That's how you know that one of your saboteurs is a pleaser, that you're constantly doing things for other people and you get resentful of doing things for them at a point because you feel like I'm always going out of my way to help them, but they don't go out of their way to help me. Once you start to think like that, you need to put a pin into it. So it's a balloon. Float that balloon up in the air. Anytime you find any of your sabotage coming up, put it inside a balloon and release the balloon up in the air, or take a pin and go, boop, I'm going to pop this balloon and not allow it to take over my mind. Okay. When you find yourself complaining of always trying to make other people feel good, of always trying to please others, of always trying to make others, achieve their own goals to the detriment of your own health, to the detriment of your own happiness, to the detriment of you fulfilling your own dreams and stuff, then you're a pleaser. And then you need to be able to shut down that thought very quickly. Okay. So I hope you guys are getting this. If you guys don't understand anything, please put it in the chat box and I would answer them. Okay. So feel free to invite your friends as well. And also, please ask me questions. Please put your comments in. I will read them and we can dialogue together. So the fourth saboteur that you can find that makes you be in a state of negativity is what's called the hyperachiever. This one as well, I could identify with at many stages in my life. And this is the one that makes you dependent on constant performance and achievement, because that's where you get your self respect and self validation from. You feel that if you're not doing things, if you're not creating, if you're not achieving, if you're not um, winning things, or showing how accomplished you can be, then you don't feel worthy. You don't feel like you're doing as well as you can in life. That is a saboteur. It's called the hyperachiever. So you're constantly looking at how you can do more, achieve more success, and you just can't stay still. So it says it keeps you focused mainly on external success rather than on internal criteria for happiness and success. So whenever you look at external things as a yardstick or a precursor of what is going to say that you're being successful, then you are falling back into the hyperachiever saboteur mode. Whenever you can do things and be able to accept the micro wins and be happy, then you know that yes, you got a handle on your hyperachiever tendencies. Okay. So that was the fourth one. The fifth one is called the victim. Okay. So the victim is the one that always has to feel emotional and temperamental ways of getting attention. So they're constantly always like, the ones telling you that, oh, this happened to me. Oh, this. So they constantly play the victim card. So when your brain, your mind starts to tell you that, oh, it's because your parents didn't love you. Oh, it's because you come from a poor background. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. You're playing the victim saboteur card. Okay. So anything that results in external focus on internal feelings, particularly painful ones, when you're focusing on all the painful things that you can think about in your life, you are playing the victim saboteur cards. Anytime you say, oh, it's because I've only got one eye. Oh, it's because I'm crippled. Oh, it's because I was born in Nigeria. Oh, it's because I'm a woman. Oh, it's because of this. Once it is a result of painful memories or painful factors that you are constantly focusing on, that is the victim saboteur card you're playing. Okay. Number 6 is the hyper rational saboteur. So this involves what they call an intense and exclusive focus on the rational process of everything. So you want to be the one that processes everything in a natural manner in your relationships, in the way people work. And so you're constantly trying to be rational to the point of being extreme. So you tend to also say that, oh, it's because that person can't, that person has a short attention span. Oh, it's because that person has a low IQ. Oh, it's because that person is not very smart. Oh, it's because, so you constantly become impatient with other people's emotion. Oh, that person is too sensitive. That's the reason they don't like being told off, or they don't like to accept constructive criticism when you correct them on what they're doing wrong. Oh, that person has low self-esteem. That's why whenever I'm around them, they feel insecure. When you hyper rationalize everything, you seem to have a reason for everything, then you are actually functioning in the hyper rational saboteur mode. Okay, so that is number 6. Number 7 is the hyper vigilant one. So the hyper vigilant one makes you intense and constantly anxious about all the dangers surrounding you. Oh, have you done this? Have you checked the time? Have you da, 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 da? Is it you locked the door? So anybody that is constantly fretted, when you're constantly in that state of heightened anxiety, always worrying, oh, have you done this? Have you switched off the gas? Have you locked the door? Have you da, 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 have you da, 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 da? Every little thing you take it to the next level of anxiety, of over focus, then it's a problem. Okay, because yes, we all need to have a certain level of security, but when you take it too far up to another level, then it becomes a saboteur, it becomes a problem, right? So when you are never at a state of ease, you're constantly anxious about something, you're constantly worrying about something, this is a saboteur you need to watch out for. It's called the hyper vigilant saboteur. That's the 7th one. Okay, the 8th one is called the restless saboteur. So this one is constantly searching for greater excitement, looking for something that will make them feel alive again. So they are the adventure wanderers. They always want to be busy. They don't like things to be quiet all the time. They don't like to not have things that they're in charge of. You need to watch out for this. So I've been in this state of flow before. I'm someone that I know that I'm a restless human being, and I always like to have a project that I'm working on. So when I don't find that balance in knowing that, okay, there's a time where you can just, take it easy and then do other things rather than constantly be in an active state of flow, then that's my saboteur coming up saying that restlessness is actually getting to a point of danger. Okay. Excuse me. So when it doesn't allow you to feel much peace or contentment with your current activity because you feel like, oh, it's not exciting enough, it's not really taking a lot of your energy and stuff, then that is the restless saboteur speaking to you. The 9th one is called the controller. So this one runs on anxiety-based needs to always be in charge, always be in control. So when you're not in charge, when you're not in control, you're never happy. You always want to be the one to be able to tell people what to do. And even when someone else is in charge, you're going to find ways to tell the person they don't know what they're doing. So once you find yourself at that state whereby you are not comfortable when other people are the ones in charge, then that means that you are suffering from the controller saboteur. So you need to be able to learn that there are times where you can be in charge, and there are times where you have to wait for, you have to just take instruction and then give your own opinion when it is needed or required. But you can't be in charge of every situation, of every single project, of everything in life and on other people's lives. It's just not possible, okay? And then the 10th and final saboteur is the avoider, okay? So this kind of people, they seem to be the ones that they free flow with everybody, they free flow with everything. Why? Because they avoid conflict. They don't want anything to put them into that state of having to discuss things or work out issues and stuff. So they tend to want to be in that positive flow, but they've taken it to the extreme end as well. So they're constantly the ones that are smiling, that are pleasant and stuff. But then at the end of the day, what they tend to do is they do this to mask their internal conflict because they don't want you to be upset with them. They don't want to have any conflict. They don't want to get into arguments. So they put up this front of being like, okay, you know what? Everything is good. I agree with everything you're saying. So what it does is it leads to procrastination and conflict avoidance, because they normally also lose the voice of self-expression because they're afraid to say what they want to say. They tend not to want to say it because they don't want people to get mad at them. That is the avoider. So those are all the 10 different saboteurs that I've mentioned for you. The first one is the judge. The second one is the stickler. The third one is the pleaser. The fourth one is the hyperachiever. The fifth one is the victim. The sixth one is the hyper rational. The seventh is the hyper vigilant. The eighth one is the restless. The ninth one is the controller. And the 10th one is the avoider. Okay, so let me check some of the comments. Oh, network hitch. I hope everything is okay now. Oluwafumilola, can you hear me? Can you see me? All right. So in case you missed out on anything, I hope I've been able to recap it for you. All right. So let's continue. It's already 31 minutes after. Wow. So now that you know what this saboteurs are, right? How do you nip them in the bud? How do you start to help yourself to start to become more positive? Because as I said, if there's a negative side, then there's got to be a positive side, okay? So what we need is to know what our sages are. So they said if the saboteurs represent your internal enemies, your sage represents the deeper and wiser part of you. So just as I said that everybody has the saboteurs playing within them, and it's a mix of it, then we also have the sage as a mix within each and every one of us. Okay. So they say that it is the part that can rise above the fray and resist getting carried away by the drama and tension of the moment of falling victim to the lies of the saboteurs. So when you look at it, that the saboteurs are the enemies within that keep on feeding us with lies or keep on telling us, oh, you know, this is not going to work and stuff like that. You need to find a way to activate that part of your brain or your mind that will start to tell you what you need to do instead of listening to the lies or the saboteurs. Okay. So everybody in life gets to be able to control their mind to say, I will not empower my saboteurs. I'm going to empower my sage. So the more control you have over your mind to be able to move from the saboteurs to the sage, the more positive intelligence level you will have, and the more success and impact and joy and peace that you'll find also accrue to you in life. Okay. So it's perspective on any challenge you're facing. It's either already a gift, an opportunity to be actively turned into one. So that's what the sage will do for you. It looks at every single circumstance. It looks at everything and says, okay, how can we turn this around to become something that is beneficial, to become something that can be a gift, to become something that is an opportunity, rather than look at it as a negative, look at it as a problem, look at it as a weakness. How can we flip the switch? Okay. So, as I said, we all have access to the 5 different sage powers, and how we get to use them is dependent on us. Okay. So, what are these 5 sage powers? The first one is called explore. So you explore with great curiosity and an open mind. I'm going to break it down more. The second one is empathize, how you get to empathize with yourself and others and bring compassion and understanding to any situation. The third one is innovate. You know, anyone that knows me knows that I love this one as a creativity intelligence coach. Innovate and create new perspectives and outside the box solutions. Number 4 is to navigate. Choose a path that best aligns with your deeper underlying values and mission. And the fifth one is to activate. Take decisive action without the distress, interference, or distractions of the saboteurs. So let me give you a quick brief about the 5 ones. So the 5 sages powers can meet every challenge in any way that results in the best outcome, while at the same time generating positive emotions. And then you get to use them as need. So whenever a saboteur comes up, you get to pull up 1 or 2 of these sages to be able to help you to mitigate the effects of the saboteurs. So when you know that you need to show appreciation and compassion or forgive somebody or forgive yourself, The empathizer power is what you need at that point in time, right? So the empathy has two targets, yourself and others. So when you know that at this point in time, you need to empathize with yourself and say, okay, yeah, you made a mistake, but it's not the end of the world. So at that point in time, empathizer superpower is what you need. Empathizer sage is what's going to work for you. Whenever you feel that, okay, there's a situation that I really don't understand, and you want to try and be able to find solutions about it, to be open minded about it, the explore is going to be the sage power that you need. The pure energy and emotions that this power gives you is the same as the one that children have. You know, they are able to play and find solution and just, be curious about things in life. We need that same thing. We need to be curious. We need to be open. We need to have a sense of wonder and fascination about things and not just restrict ourselves to what we know and to the things we see, but actually tell ourselves, let's explore. Let's explore other options. Let's explore what else can be. Let's explore how we can also do things. That way, you don't feel like that you have only one option in life. That's what the Explore Superpower Sage can help you with. The third one is innovate. And innovate comes from the sense of creativity to be able to bring that creativity to life. So the innovate power concerns inventing what isn't already. So true innovation is about breaking out of the boxes, the assumptions, and the habits that hold us back. It's about finding a new way of being to do things. So for me, I particularly love this, and it's something I've been engaging with for the past 2, 3 years, especially since the COVID came in. I found myself innovating the way of me doing things, the way of me thinking, the way of me acting, the way I show up. I've asked myself that, can I break out of the norm that I've put myself into, to say that, oh, I'm only creative at night, and actually start to create at any time I want to. I started asking myself that, is it possible that I can do this other things that I felt I couldn't do before, because of the fact that I didn't activate my sage powers in this area? So you can innovate on yourself. You can innovate on the things you create. You can innovate on the things around you. Innovation is within your power. So whenever your mind keeps on coming up with ways of being that makes you feel stuck, that makes you feel like, oh, you can't get past this, the innovator sage power would help you to be able to find a new way of thinking, a new way of being, and a new way of doing. Okay. So the next one is number 4, the navigate. Okay. So the sage power to navigate is about choosing between various paths and alternatives based on a consistent internal compass. So you know how they say there are many roads that can lead to a certain destination. That's basically what the navigate sage power is going to help you with. So you don't have to feel like there is only one way, and that if you didn't take that one way, then you've messed up. The navigate superpower will tell you that we can take a detour. We can still go this way and still get to where we want to go. So it kind of empowers you to be able to have an optimistic point of view that even if you missed a turning, there's another turning ahead that will still get you to where you want to end up at the end of the day. Rather than the, oh my God, I've missed it, I messed up, oh my God, this is the end of it for me. And then you start to get down on yourself. The navigate superpower sage will tell you that, nope, don't worry, I'm like a GPS compact. I will still find a way for us to get to our end destination. We all need that. And then the fifth one is activate. Okay. So these are the ones that allows us to be able to put ourselves in that state of taking action. Many of us are always planning, many of us are always wishing, but many of us are not always doing. So when you find yourself having those saboteurs that makes you procrastinate, that makes you have self disbelief, that makes you feel like, oh, this is not possible. This fifth one activates sage power, would help you to be able to say, no, let's try it. Let's get going on it. We've done enough planning. It hasn't been done before. Let's be the first one to make it happen. The only worst thing that can happen is that we don't get it all right, but then we learned something, right? So that's what the fifth one, activate, will help you to do. It will allow you to not be distracted by the saboteurs that are trying to hold you back, that are trying to make you stay in your comfort zone and not move up in life. So mediocrity doesn't exist when you actually activate your sage power called activate. It's so funny. Activate, the sage power called activate. Okay. So those are the five different sage powers. So what happens is that when your mind is on your side, you flourish. So, what does it mean that your mind is on your side? When your mind is in a positive state of flow, you find that things are working out better for you. When your mind is in a negative state of flow, you find yourself floundering. You find yourself struggling. You find yourself stuck. You find yourself digressing in life. You find yourself living a life that is just full of worry, anxiety, mediocrity. You don't see yourself growing. You don't see yourself happy. You don't see yourself fulfilled. Why? Because your mind is not on your side. So you get to choose whether or not you get to control your mind to be on your side or to be against you. So the saboteurs are when things are working against you in your mind, and the sage are when things are working for you. So that's what positive intelligence helps you to do, to be able to find ways to be able to get your mind to be on your side. So while there are lots of factors to your success, positive intelligence might be the game changer you need. It helps you to measure exactly how much of your saboteurs are in charge or how much of your sage are in charge, and then what you need to do to be able to get yourself on the right track to have your mind on your side. So how can you do this? According to that book that I told you in the beginning, that is called Positive Intelligence, which I said you should get a copy. It says there are three strategies for increasing your positive intelligence. Okay. The first one is weaken your saboteurs, which makes perfect sense, right? If you can weaken this part of your mind that keeps telling you it can't be done, that makes you become hyper achiever or a hyper pleaser, or makes you become a stickler, or is always making you judge yourself in a way that is detrimental to you, then you will be able to actually start to silence that side of you that is becoming a problem. So once you weaken your saboteurs, what happens? You've disarmed the power it has of you. Then you're giving yourself the opportunity to be able to do the things you want to do with your mind. And that's why strategy number two works, that you strengthen your state. So you constantly try and reduce the voice and the power of your saboteurs, and you constantly work on strengthening your five sages within you. And then the third one is to strengthen your positive intelligence brain muscles, right? So what we didn't realize is that beyond just working on our body muscles, we've got to exercise our brain muscles. Isn't that fascinating? Exercising our brain muscles. How do we get to do that? Well, you got to go study. You got to put your mind to work. You got to challenge your brain to be able to do certain things. So you challenge your mind, exercise your mind, strengthen your mind to be able to say, hey, is because you have not been strengthening your mind muscles. So when your mind muscles are stronger, you will be able to achieve better things in life. Okay. So that's why I say that we all have the sabotage within. We all can self-sabotage ourselves. And we sometimes do it without realizing that this destructive thinking can actually be mitigated when you start to identify what is holding you back and then tell yourself, oh, now I know exactly what I'm doing. And then you start to put your sage powers in place so that that way you do not allow the saboteurs to take charge of what you do. Okay. So those are the things that I had to share with us today. So I hope you guys have been able to understand a little bit more about what positive intelligence is all about and how you can use it. So I just wanted to read out something again, that with positive intelligence, you can both measure and significantly improve the percentage of time that your mind is serving you rather than sabotaging you. So once you start to know that it is up to me how much time and effort I actually allow the saboteurs to be at play in my mind, then you start to see your life qualities improving, because it's been said that only 20% of people achieve their full potentials in life. Why? Because we spend too much time giving place to our saboteurs. So we need to be able to shift the balance of this power in our mind permanently so that we can achieve more of our vastly untapped potential and help others to do the same. And that comes by actually knowing how the positive intelligence comes to work. And you can go to positiveintelligence.com to be able to take the test to know exactly what are your key saboteurs and then start to know how to disarm them. Okay. So I hope you guys have been able to gain so much value from this because I have enjoyed actually being here with you guys. So I'm reading the comments to be able to see I didn't miss out anything and then we can move on. Thank you, Muiwa. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. So everybody in life has got saboteurs that are at play. And as I said, there are 10 of them. And these things are, they come up at different points of times in our lives. So some people are more prone to some than others, but you first of all need to identify them. By identifying them, naming them, and then knowing why they're showing up, you can disempower them. You can disempower it and stop it from having any price or place in your life. It is very important because once you do not know that this is what is holding you back, you will keep going through that same vicious cycle over and over again and wondering why you are not moving ahead in life. I'm wondering why you constantly keep on hitting a brick wall at every stage of life when you feel like it's time for you to up level, it's time for you to grow, it's time for you to promote, it's time for you to start to see yourself gaining traction. It's because you are allowing your mind to work against you instead of for you. Your saboteurs are the part of your mind that are activated to work against you. And the sage are the ones that work to empower you and allow you to live from a place of a heightened sense of positivity, optimism, and power. Because when you know that you have the power to be able to do what you want to do, then you will start to achieve greater results in life. So many times when you think that the things holding you back are external, this is trying to teach us that we probably are so wrong that most of the things holding us back in life are not external factors, but are internal, and that it's in the mind. That's why they say that the mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you choose to activate your mind. Mind your mind, exercise your mind, empower your mind with the positive vibes that you need. That's why we shared affirmations in the beginning. Why? Because saboteurs, like the judge that makes you be highly critical of yourself, can make you feel that you're not worthy, can make you feel you're not brilliant enough, can make you feel that you ought not to be doing what you need to do. But then when you start to find ways to be able to empathize with yourself and tell yourself that, you know what, I can do this. I can actually start to activate some of the things in my life. Then you start to put the combination of those five sage powers into play in your life and start to see the results that you desire. So stop holding yourself back. Stop looking externally at things and wondering why you're not moving forward. Start to ask yourself that, am I the problem? Am I the reason why things are the way they are in my life? Am I the one that has not been empowering myself in my mind to start to do things the way I ought to do? So that way you can start to see progress. You can start to move forward. You can start to become more of the person God has created you to be. You can start to unleash more of your greatness, your creativity, and the effervescence of who you are. Why? Because you have what it takes already. But it's the saboteurs that are in play in your mind that you've been given too much voice and power to that have been holding you back. And you've been thinking it's the external limitations that have been working against you. It's your mind working against you. You have been allowing your mind to work against you for too long. Today is a great day to start to end the power of the saboteurs over you. But how is that going to come into play? You need to study, you need to learn. You need to know what they are and then begin to disempower them. That's why the three strategies that I mentioned earlier will work for you. If you learn what your saboteurs are and start to weaken them, then number two, you start to strengthen your sages, which is your superpowers, the five of them. And then, of course, the number three, you start to exercise your mind. Every mind needs to be exercised so that you can use it at its fullest potential and capacity. There is still so much more in you beyond what you've achieved in life. It doesn't matter how old you are. There is still so much more creativity. There's still so much life in you. There's still so much abundance within you. Don't limit yourself. Get yourself out of that prison bars that you've set in your mind, that the saboteurs have put you in, and free yourself to be, to do, and to act the way God has created it to be, limitless, without any end, because you can do it if only you can set your mind to achieving it. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you guys have actually gained something. Honestly, this is going to help you if only you can take the time to study about it. And if you don't want to do the hard work of studying and you would rather work with a coach to help you to work through your saboteurs and then give you tips and tools and exercises that you can do to exercise your mind to be able to strengthen your sages and to weaken your saboteurs, why don't you send me a DM and book a session with me where I will show you how you can start to empower your sages in you and then disempower the saboteurs so that you can work your mind to do you right in life. Once again, my name is Madame Merola. I am the bang creator that ignites the beautiful and bold, audacious, no excuses, God's masterpiece in you. My sole job is to ensure that you discover who you've been created to be, know what your zone of geniuses are, so that you can operate in it in such a way that you become a profitable, powerful, and prominent personal brand, living the life that God has ordained you for. And that is the reason why this show, Live a Phenomenal Life, is in its fifth season, fifth year of existence. Over 210 episodes have already been aired on Mondays. It's always on Mondays, just to ensure that you stay inspired, empowered, and transformed to live your best life. I believe in you. I believe in the godness in you. I believe in your uniqueness. I believe that there is something that only you can achieve. There's something that only you can bring into this world that no one else can. I don't want us to miss from the brilliance of the things that you only can bring to this world. I don't want us to miss the absolute genius that you are. Unleash your greatness. Free yourself from every limitation. Believe that you are possible. Believe that you're truly God's masterpiece and you can be anything you want to be, and see yourself living in that light. And therefore, you start to actually function in it. I don't want you to ever live a life of mediocrity. You don't belong there. You were built for more. Believe it, achieve it, and start to live a legacy that you leave that you can be proud of. Take care of yourself. Be good to you. Do you 100% unapologetically. Until next Monday, I'll be back again with a guest to be able to ensure that you keep working your mind to the greater heights that you can, because your life will not just be ordinary, it ought to be phenomenal. If you have just found out about me, please visit any of my social media sites. I am on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube as Madame Merola. And you can also visit my website, www.madamemerola.com, to actually get to invite me to come and speak on your podcast, at your seminar, as a keynote speaker, or to be your coach to help you to live a transformed and empowered life. Thank you so much for joining me. The replay will be up as soon as I end this live broadcast. Have a good week and walk majestically into the new month of March. Take care and thank you guys. Bye, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been so much fun. Okay, so let me just read some of the comments on Instagram. Adaleke says, yes, we need to identify and dismantle our saboteurs. Absolutely. What you cannot identify, you cannot have control over. So that's why I said the first thing to do is to identify which one of the 10 saboteurs are taking over your mind, because your mind is working for you or working against you. And the way it works for you is by knowing how to put the sages in play to be able to aid you to think right and act right at every given situation in life. You need to exercise your mind. You need to be able to silence the saboteurs and then give voice to the sages so that your positive intelligence score can go up, so that you can start to see the direct ripple effect of what you are doing based on how you're allowing your mind to actually function and activate it in your life in such a way that you see only great results all the time, regardless of the things that are going on around you externally. So let's be in charge of our internal state of being so that our external state of being cannot affect us to do things that we do not want to do. So take care of you guys. So I'll be back again next week. Enjoy yourself and bye bye, everybody. So just reading the comments now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ending the podcast on Facebook.